Welcome to the Salt Strong Podcast, disrupting fishing entertainment as you know it. Prepare to laugh. Prepare to get to know fishing legends in a whole new and unfiltered way. And on occasion, you might even learn a thing or two about fishing. Here's your host, Joe Simons. Like diamonds.
Stop burning boat gas. The redfish and trout spots that everyone passes by. And it's killing you. It kills us. We did it so many times. We still do it. We're going to talk about some funny stories where we did it recently. Hey, everyone. I'm Joe Simons. Like diamonds.
And I'm Luke Simons.
Like diamonds. Those of you that don't like diamonds, it's still here. Don't you worry. Not going anywhere. But we're talking about a very, very common mistake, especially people who own a boat or renting a boat or have a buddy who's got a boat, and that is getting all giddy. And you're in your boat, you finally got the day off, you finally got a chance to go fishing, and you just want to go out and explore the world. And what we found time and time again, and we got a couple real stories that happened here recently. Luke's actually pulling up some spots here on the map. If you're listening, you should probably come in and watch some of this because we're going to show real spots and tell some real stories. But so many times the fish are right there, like within waiting distance. And we had one recently. We spent the whole day just trying to catch some sheepshead, and we were with a guide. And I'm not throwing the guide on the bus. We all agreed that was the plan because we're like, they're going to be farther out here. And it turns out we caught all the sheepshead. Right. I mean, you could see the boat ramp where we caught them all. And I was like, I can't believe we just spent 6 hours with very little to show for a couple little sheepies. And we caught as much as we wanted at the very end, right next to the boat ramp. So Luke, what are we looking at here? And why is this a common mistake, especially with boaters?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at maps. This is smart fishing spots. And yeah, well, I think we've all been guilty of this, where especially having a boat, it's almost like if we're not running like 5 miles or more, then like we're, then we're going to be missing all the fish, right? Farther is better. That was our mindset. Like for me, many years, this is, Charlotte Harbor, I'm now finding spots that I never fished before that I'm actually catching a bunch of very nice fish that are literally a quarter mile from some of the ramps that I used to use. Like I was completely going past some of the best zones because in my mind, like farther is better. And I just have this spot on the map to show an example of how it doesn't have to be that way. And this is actually a trip that Joe and I did. We were exploring this area. This happens to be Palma Bay. It's just kind of Bradenton area. And I was kind of on this map seeing if that was the case. So here's the boat ramp. And again, back in the day, I would be looking at spots like 5 miles away. But now it's actually very rare that I travel more than 2 miles from a launch. Like when I'm launching the boat, I just pick spots that have a lot of good zones nearby. And so this is the ramp that we used. And our first fish was literally right at the tip of this island. So we're literally typically just fishing spots that you can literally see from the boat ramp, best case. And I even we didn't take a picture of it. So all we did is we literally I'd use smart fishing spots to find these zones. This is that little island that you could see. And now this is where we started catching fish. And it was very obvious. This is the island. Yeah, we caught a couple fish off of it. And then we went over to the target zone, which was these oyster bars that are very, this was actually so clear you can see from the map. But this oyster layer in smart fishing spots is absolutely awesome. Any sort of grassy bay area, like all along the Gulf Coast of Florida, even over Texas, really everywhere in grassy bays, if you can find some good oysters along the seagrass, it's almost always going to be a good spot. And
zoom in, it was tough to see. Yeah, there you can see they got highlighted, and that's also good. You have 4K. If you go back to layers and turn the satellite to just normal, you can the oysters pop up a whole lot better. Luke just happened to have it in the high res. Oh yeah, look at
really
now.
So here's beams. So anybody using regular being, you can't see much without it. And then the normal Google is here, and then the full on high res is next level. And typically like little small spots, like everybody knows about these oysters. Like you can see these from just regular satellites. Some of the best spots that I find are like this, like little small oysters that you couldn't really see unless you were kind of cued off a little bit. And those are typically the ones that are overlooked, where a lot of the fish there are not on their not in alert mode, and they'll more easily bite. But yeah, so all we did is literally just use this map to find some good looking spots. We hit these oysters. Then we wanted to hit the shoreline. So we caught some trout in here, and we caught some snook. They're all small, so we didn't take pictures. And then we were going over to these oysters, and then happened across a nice redfish on the way over. And so this is the really cool feature within Smart Fishing Spots, where just literally take a picture and then upload it into the system, and it automatically pulls in the tides and weather for the given time, and very helpful. That way, it's just a great catch log. So
yeah.
And
I think so many of us, we tend to think when we catch a fish, because you're in the moment and it's exciting, that I'll remember exactly where I caught it. Maybe that's more likely, but exactly when, what time of day, what the tide was doing, moon phase, and that, I think that was a year or so ago. You asked me about the snook pictures. I know we caught snook, we got video of it. But I didn't see any fish pics, and I had to go back to those. Oh yeah, that's exactly where we were, the time of day. That catch log is so cool, especially once you start catching a whole lot more fish. It is a game changer to have all of that data in one place. It's all private to you. No one else can see that either.
Yeah, and getting in. So just for distance wise, I have the route tool where you can kind of just plot a route, and it gives you the distance across the way. So first fish was literally 0.4 miles away. Then we caught some more trout right here going over these oysters. That was half a mile away. Caught the snook about, I guess we'll go to stop at that trout. And we didn't go around that oyster. Had something nice around that point and got away. And then the snook was a mile away. And then we got our slam after 1.2 total miles, most of which was on trolling motor. All this zone was just on trolling motor. So yeah, you don't have to go far. So if it's planned properly, there's really not a whole lot of gas needed, even if you have, the whole old two-stroke like I was using at this point.
I mean, you could have done that in a kayak with no pedal drive. I mean, a mile is nothing. You do it in an old canoe with an old wooden paddle.
Yeah, and so you might be asking, so what type of spot should I look for? And we have a very good detailed lessons that are actually regionalized. So we show some spots in Texas, in the Carolinas, marsh systems, and just a little bit of everything in our fishing school. So if you really want to get better at reading maps, go through the fishing school. It's at saltstrong.com. You can see a little hamburger menu at the top. There'll be a link to the fishing school, and it's segmented by skill level. But in general, what you're looking for are just zones with multiple forms of structure, whether you're going after redfish, sea trout, snook, flounder. Out in flat sand is the worst place you can possibly fish, because these are all ambush predators. They're not going to be sit down on flat sand. What they like is anything different. And so that's why I mentioned finding oysters plus seagrass plus potholes nearby. You have depth changes. You have multiple forms of structure. Same thing here. We've got nice mangrove point with oysters on it, surrounded by seagrass. It's just a great type of spot to fish. And here, we even have this canal system. So you have deeper water, just lots of different structure, is almost guarantees there's going to be fish. So when you launch at a spot like this, and what you'll see is that most launches are actually have very good terrain very close by. And when it does, you really don't have to go any further, because there's going to be fish here. It's just a matter of where. And now you got to pinpoint exactly where they're feeding. A lot of times that's the wind direction. Sometimes pressure changes will shift them around. And again, that's what we do the weekend game plans every week for Insider Club members, where it basically highlights the key trends to focus on when selecting exactly which spots to fish.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, I think back we've spent decades now of our lives going to Little Gasparilla Island. You now are there a whole lot. Got the condo there near Gasparilla Marina. We spent a lot of time there, and so many people that you talk to, if you're pumping gas or in the Gasparilla Marina, and just chatting up with some oh, where are you going fishing at? When you see they got rods there, and oh, I'm going up to Bull Bay. And this is nothing against Bull Bay. There's plenty of fish there. And we did that, right, Luke? And that's a long run that you have to do every time. And you get your spot, and there's someone there inevitably. And there are so many great spots right there near Gasparilla Marina, and really just all through Port Charlotte. near boat ramps and kayak launch spots where you don't really have to go that far. You guys did it recently, right? You took the marketing team out and caught fish really close from what I heard and saw pictures of.
Yeah, so here's I just went over that. I turned my private spots off. I got a lot of private spots I'm not willing to share on a public video. But yeah, so here's Bull Bay, and then here's like the main lodge. Let's see what distance that is. We have a little distance tool. So as a crow flies, we're talking.
I'm gonna say 5.
Most people are going 5 miles, but then you have to go if it's low tide, you have to go out and around. But anyhow, so that's 5 miles one direction, best case, and I'll actually show one spot. This is a lesson that I did after a cold front. And all I did is I barely got on a plane. We launched here and I just went around, and it was all about finding deep structure. After cold fronts, the fish hold deep. And I know about these oyster bars here. That's a good sign. But after a cold front, fish go to deep water that's wind protected. And I had a north wind. And so I literally went under the bridge and then went right up into here, and I caught a slam all in this one little zone, plus a bonus grouper. And I was actually testing out some new lures. So it doesn't take much. And I never once, after 30 years of going down here, I never even went back in this little cubby. Because I thought,
and the next little channel is to the marina.
Yeah.
And all those condos and who knows how many boats are stored there that people just fly out of there the second you can get on a plane, and they're going, in most cases, heading there to that Bull Bay area or past that. And yeah, there's so many spots really close there. And even where you are now, even going right, not to give away too many of our honey holes there in Placida, but going right, there's places that you could do the same thing in an old wooden canoe, even a wooden ship named Diversity could get you there. So
yeah, so again, there's not very far distance here. Let me cancel that. But yeah, this doesn't require much. I didn't get the yardage there, but yeah, this is definitely under a mile and catch a bunch of fish. And again, that's just one thing that was one thing that I now rarely do as I travel far. Again, it's usually just a few miles, and that's regardless if I'm fishing down in Port Charlotte, if I'm fishing Tampa Bay. I've been going up to Hudson area lately, and yeah, it's just shocking how it's not needed to go far as long as you get good at reading online maps. And this Smart Fishing Spots platform just makes it so much easier. You see how clear the water is. And even if it's not clear, like if you're in Jacksonville, we have a lot of members in Jacksonville and up Georgia and the Carolinas where the water is really murky. Using that oyster layer and the 1 foot contour combo is you can really see what's going on. Let's go ahead and go up there.
Yeah, in this spot here, it's too late now, but it goes back to what you always preach, and I'm going to repeat it, is maximize the amount of structure, the different types of structure, and you're going to maximize your chances. And that spot that Luke was just on, you saw oysters, you saw points, you saw really drastic depth changes where it went really shallow to deep. You had a lot of little mangrove shorelines. There's so many different types of structure. That's what we got here.
Yeah. So here, this is up in Jacksonville, and again, just another example. So this water clarity is just not clear, and then we can go over the different maps. So still not clear. Bing is still not clear. None of them are. So in that instance, we rely on the 1 foot contour layer, and this is the layer that will show the depths on a contour basis. So every line there is a foot or half a foot. Actually, I guess we now have half foot for a lot of the zones. And so now all we need to do, if we know, say, like, let's go back to the winter example where fish shift out to deeper structure once it gets cold. Now we can quickly go in here and find the deep pockets of water. And I'm sorry, my internet connection is really slow here, but we can just go through and find the deep pockets of water. And specifically, we're looking for some deep water that's close to some oysters, right? And so ideally even some like little channels. So the fact we have this little channel here, a little creek mouth, that's 5 feet of water plus oysters on both sides. That's a high probability spot. Over here, we have some depth that goes up to 5 feet of water with all these oysters along the edge. High probability spot, like this nice little channel here. Yeah, I've never fished this, but if I was going to fish this zone under that type of conditions, this would be.
And then it goes to 8 8.5 pretty quickly right there in the middle.
Yeah. So anyhow, this mapping system, it's just something that I wish I had access to 30 years ago. It has everything you possibly need to find fish. You can set waypoints, obviously. Has all the launch spots, but that oyster layer is huge. Seagrass layers is helpful too.
Let's turn on the launch spots or the boat.
Yeah, so boat ramps. So somebody will ask, hey, what's the difference between boat ramps and launch spots? So boat ramps are obviously boat ramps like for boats specifically. And then the launch spots, that's going to be some spots that are kayak only. It's really for kayaks. So not all launches are boats. So here's one, this color here, that's a launch spot. And so that's going to be a kayak only. And then, so it even gives conditions. So this one's sketchy. So if you, if you have a big bulky kayak, this would be one. Okay, let's not bother going here because it's a sketchy. It's going to be a hard one. It's going to be a tough launch. So again, just helpful information that
drop your dude on there. So I don't think there's still people that don't know how to do that.
Yeah, that's like
such a cool tip
there.
Looks like you can drop your man. So you grab that little guy over there.
Yeah,
drop
the loading
PC load letter.
Yeah, so yeah, with that little yellow guy, so you can literally just drop it on the map and see what's going on. So yeah, not much parking. You can read road signs, like if there's no parking or not. This is what I did if I'm out traveling. I want to fish. Yeah, so now I know.
No fishing sign from bridge, but you can fish in the water.
So this is interesting. I don't see any really kayak launch spot. Oh, I guess it's right there.
It says sketchy is. You got to go right there.
Yeah, so there you can see exactly what it looks like, and you can go up the road, right, to see parking. Let's see what these signs say. So, yeah, it looks like you can actually legally park there. So, yeah, super helpful, right? How nice is it to be able to do
flip flops there, dude. Zoom in on those flip flops.
Free flip flops.
Hey, you can see everything on Google.
Oh man, better get there quick.
That was a Polk County tweaker. Lots of flip flops.
So yeah, so in this case, right, it's just you can see what's going on. It's just so helpful to be able to do this type of research and get this intel from your home or your office, so that when you have the time to fish, like your most valuable time getting out on the water, is actually spent fishing and not going to the wrong launch spots or not wasting time trying to find spots on the water. That's a big mistake a lot of people make. Find your spots with software like this from home so that you can be fishing the good spots when you're actually fishing, not wasting time.
Love it. If you don't mind, since we're getting kind of towards the end, and anyone who sticks around towards the end, we'd like to give them a special gift sometimes. You've been crushing it using the Polk County tweaker on a very interesting retrieve. You share that?
Yeah, let me get this screen share off. So, yeah, so I've been doing a very slow, steady retrieve like this. I actually have the lures here. So I've been testing out these Polk County tweaker. This is a new color. And when it's really calm weather, that's just something that like I've always just never really liked calm water because the fish are so spooky, especially big trout, because big trout just sit still. They're ambush predators. And when they're still and the water's still, when everything's still, they know exactly what's going on, right? Just like you, if you're sitting down in the woods and there's like not any wind at all, and like a little squirrel happens to step on a dry leaf, it sounds like a grizzly bear. And so it's the same thing with these fish. And so it's crucial to not be making too much noise. And my biggest lesson that I learned recently that I'm kicking myself for taking 30 plus years to realize this is I always knew that I at least knew that I need to go to lures like this when it's calm.
By the way, you're in your 40s, not your 30s. And I don't even be trying to say 30.
Well, I started fishing fishing hardcore when I was about 10. So 30 years of actual hardcore fishing, which is either way, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing either way.
Many decades.
But I at least knew that I need to be using lures that don't give off a lot of vibration. So I was doing that properly. So check box there where I don't feel too bad. But what I was doing wrong is I know this is called a jerk bait. And so hence the name, like you basically twitch the rod tip, you jerk it so that it looks lively, which is great most of the time. But I was just spooking fish, or they just weren't interested. Like they weren't spooking, but like right as my lure was going towards it, they actually would just like slow turn away. Like or just ignore it altogether. But most of the time it's like a slow turn away, and it's usually the bigger fish. They're smarter. They're not smart, but also not stupid. Like they've been targeted before. They've realized the sensation of line going through water. They can feel that 100%, especially when it's calm. And for me, like an idiot sitting there twitching this lure, I was letting them know that danger's in the area, and they were definitely not going to eat no matter what I had. Even if I had a live bait, they probably wouldn't have eaten it. And what I've been doing lately is I've gone to very thin line, number one, 0. I've gone away from all like Power Pro, like the normal Power Pro, the 4-strand Power Pro with that vibration. Just that coarse line going through the guides is enough to alert fish of danger. And then no twitches at all. So I've literally just been slow dragging these lures on the bottom, and my catch rate on both quality and quantity has skyrocketed. So I'm actually editing a video right now that's going to go through some details, showing some recent catches. Whether I'm blind fishing for really big trout, I put some examples in of targeting tailing redfish. Same thing, right? The worst thing we could do is alert a tailing redfish that danger's in the area, that they're actively feeding. So let's let them keep feeding until they see your lure. And so I just slow swim these jerk lures straight through, like right around the tailing fish, and they'll see it. And more importantly is I don't spook them. So even if they don't see it the first cast, I throw it again and again until they finally do see it. I've really haven't been spooking any of these fish, whereas my spook rate was much higher before. And then straight sight fishing on calm, clear water. That was the third example that I showed in that video. And same thing, I would lead the fish instead of twitching it, just a slow drag on the bottom, and it's shocking how effective it is. I don't even know what they think it is. I'm assuming it's like they think it's an eel or something, but even that slow movement catches their attention. And I put an underwater camera down just to see what it looks like, and it actually looked pretty lively. Like it's kind of bouncing along the bottom.
That's what I was going to ask, if you're dragging it so slow it's hitting the bottom, or it's just kind of like gliding through the.
But so for the sight fishing, it was a slow drag, total slow drag. But it's not the most exciting fishing because you can't cover much water doing that. So on sight fishing, a very slow drag. And then the other ones, I would change it up. And some of them, it was definitely going fast, too fast to have it be on the bottom. So I definitely caught some really nice trout when I was going kind of mid-column, straight mid-column. They hit it. Again, it's shockingly effective. And the coolest part is the hookup ratio is much better because now, right, the fact that I'm moving it the entire time, I don't have slack in the line. So I of course, feel the strike better. But when I feel that strike, there's no slack, so I can immediately let them have it and just get better hookups.
That's good. Polk County tweaker, more like Polk County sleeper. And then the sleeping tweaker. Aren't you guys glad you stuck around with a cool tip?
And the same thing applies to the flea flicker. I don't have them here, but that is a suspending plug. And so the same thing, right? I'd never caught big trout, especially when it's calm, until I did the exact same thing, slow and steady, and they were hammering it. I had that flea flicker in the mullet color. And actually tomorrow I'm going to go film the flea flicker mullet color versus the flea flicker slam shady color to see if that high definition mullet. I need to get one, but yeah, we have one that's a high definition mullet somewhere here in my office. I got one, but it looks awesome. So the question is, did mullet help or not?
To reiterate, this is for calm days.
Yeah.
Not just a normal typical day where you even just have some wind and some ripple effect in the water.
Yeah,
there it is.
So yeah, when it's really calm, then the goal is just to not spook the fish and just keep it super slow, right? Just the smallest, and like literally, I'm just doing a slow swim like this, and they're hammering it. And that big trout too, up to 24 inches. Like none of them were too small, like none of them were too short. So I'm doing a test on tomorrow. I'll do a test on this mullet pattern, which looks incredibly lifelike. Even got some little red marks to show that it's injured. And then the other one is slam shady. It was just full slam shady. And we're going to have pretty calm conditions tomorrow. So I'm pretty confident that we'll get some action.
Sweet. Well, stay tuned. If you're an insider member, you get to see all the behind the scenes stuff, including way more of the fishing spots etc. And if you haven't joined saltstrong.com, we changed something up this month too. We hope you guys who are members love it. Every month we give away tackle for you guys to test out. It's called our tackle tester program. And normally we just keep them for a couple days. And this month we decided to go the whole month. A couple of reasons. One, you get people who just miss it. You're out of town, just busy in life, and you miss the email or forget about it. Or someone who just signed up. We get, 50, 100 people a day now are signing up to join the club. It's crazy. And if you join and you just miss, you're like, oh man, I got to wait a whole another month. So we're, at least for right now, as long as it's all about supply, as long as we have some, which I believe we have a couple hundred left, it is still available. If you're listening to this, hopefully it's still available. But that's that tackle tester. And this month it's a popping cork, Dr. Popper, which is a really unique and awesome popping cork, almost $10. And of course you get your free Slam Shady as well. So that is all free. Put it in one order and boo bam sham, it is hitting your mailbox. Add some stuff to it. Obviously, if you get over $50, it's free shipping completely. But just a no-brainer, just another cool perk of joining the club. So if you want to get free tackle every month, come join us. And of course, access to smart fishing spots. Luke just showed you a fraction of what that can do.
I was about to say, just to clarify too, the biggest reason is to be able to find fish easier and faster than ever before. And that smart fishing spot system that we just showed at the beginning, that is complimentary as part of the club. You get the web version access that we were just using, and you get the app as well. So if you remember, you get complimentary access to it. That software is amazing. It is an absolute game changer for being able to find fish crazy fast, even in spots that you overlooked, like I used to do for many years. Save a ton of gas, just not wasting time going too far. And yeah, it is the best thing possible if you truly want to become a better fisherman. And the best part about it is it's guaranteed. If somehow after you use it, if you join the annual plan, you get an entire year worth of a satisfaction guarantee, where if somehow you don't think that you're catching more fish than ever before, and it's just an honor system, we're not going to ask for stats data. If you somehow don't think it's the best investment you've ever made in saltwater fishing, just let us know and you get your dues back. It's simple as that. We know it works. It's certainly changed our lives, and I'm sure it'll change your life as well. And yeah, I just can't recommend it enough, because you have nothing to lose and a ton of fish catching fun to gain.
Nothing to lose, everything to gain. That's our motto here at Salt Strong.
Amen. I just wish I had this 20 years ago. It's like,
no doubt.
Even me as an experienced guy, like I'm still like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that spot was there. And that's the spots that I fished for 10 plus years. So it's, it kills me when people are struggling and they just haven't even tried it out. So just highly recommend trying it out.
Yeah, save tons of money, regardless of your boat or not. A huge chunk of our members are wade fishermen and kayak anglers. But if you have a boat, oh my gosh, you'll save crazy amount of money. It's only $97 for the whole year. I mean, that's take a boat gas these days. Assuming you have, even a small tank, it's, crazy how much boat gas costs right now. So, all right, guys, we will end this. I got some cool stuff coming up. I think it's going to be next week. We're taking off. Luke and I are going to be doing some fishing in that Charlotte Harbor. So I'll be looking for some cool fishing reports and fun stuff. They're taking a week off, get some fishing and family time. Spring break, baby. But stay tuned. After that, we'll have some good ones. We should have Scott, Ray, and Waiter Dave debating the baitcaster versus spinning gear, which is going to be a good one. And stay tuned for a lot more. Appreciate you guys. Talk to you in the next episode. Peace. See ya. 'Cause fishing, it's in my soul.